Is this working? Turn my laptop off.
We'll find out.
There we go. What's up, guys?
We may be late, but we're here.
We are
Right,
here.
So how do you get off of the top chat and go to the live chat?
Yeah, so
mine says both. Mine says live chat, and then under it says top chat.
Now I can choose live chat. There we go. Yeah, why is it doing that? That's what it was doing the other day or last week when we were anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So on my phone it's got scissors and it's got like 3 little adjusty things. Hit the 3 adjusty things.
Mm-hmm.
And says
boom.
Top chat or live chat.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah. So
every day, questions and answers.
So last week we were all sitting here and we did the wheel and everything, and afterwards we were all talking about it, and most of us only saw like 3 people that that typed in the right word and to get the shirt, and we're all like, like this ain't gonna be very good.
Nobody wants a shirt.
There's 35 of them or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we learned that there's the option of top chat or live chat. So while you guys are joining us, take a look at your chat and make sure you have the live chat, which shows all the messages and not just some of the messages. Big difference. Big difference. So that way you're not missing out on anything in the chat, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I don't know why it did that all of a sudden, if it was like a new YouTube update or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
got it fixed. All right, guys. Well, shoot, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central. Keep off the grass. Welcome everybody. Let's jump into it. Let's all grab a glass and keep off the grass. Ooh, I like the koozie.
I'll grab this nice Simple On Solutions koozie.
Got my speaker here.
That sounded good. That was good. What was that? The old Coke Zero?
That's the old Coke Zero. Tastes so good.
I'm going with the Mountain Dew tonight. We went out to dinner tonight and I had a couple Busch Lights. So a couple at dinner and a couple during the show. I still got to get up about 5 a.m. So
so early.
Save them up for next week.
Well, yeah. So tonight we got a light crew. Brian's doing kid volleyball stuff. Zach is stuck at work because he's the boss man, so he's got to be there tonight. We got Brent. Brent's coming on. Right on. All right. I like it.
Yeah. There he is.
He is. Hey,
I fell asleep with my son, and then really good. Just got
it. Hey, I've been guilty of a power nap before a show. I've done that.
Yeah, I just totally knocked out for like the last 3-5 minutes. Got up. I was like, oh crap, we gotta go. So
and you're like the latest, man. You're on the East Coast time zone. For you, it's even later than me. Even
and to note, it's back to sweater weather. I see.
Yes, of course. This is the official sweater of Keep Off the Grass.
That's how you know it's officially fall, right there.
It's officially fall. This is the sweater.
Yep,
seen it before. It's back.
So tonight we thought we would do a Q&A episode. We were tossing around topics. We thought, we had a lot of fun with the last one we did. And most of us have kind of, I wouldn't say we've wrapped up the season, but, we've kind of done some of the big things we're doing. We're getting kind of finished up and we're, just enjoying the mow or waiting for some babies to germinate. So we thought, Q&A episode would be a cool idea. Let folks in the live chat and folks ask, see if there's questions they want for us. I got a few questions in a story I posted earlier this week. Some actually really good ones. So we can start there, or we can see if we got some in the chat already. I don't know if anybody's thrown a question in there yet. I haven't been following it too close.
I see one from Lawn Radiance about gas powered equipment. We can start with that one, because I know we've talked about that.
Yeah, sure.
We talked about it on the show before, and I think we all have various opinions. And it might be one of those things where there's no right, there's no wrong, there's no best, there's no worst, but it's just kind of what I remember talking about this when I remember saying, I think it's whatever your grandpa taught your dad and whatever your dad taught you type of thing. So the question is, in regards to gas powered equipment, do you change the oil before storing for winter, or do you change it in the spring before your first use? And then with gas, do you fill up the gas tank before storing it, or do you store it completely empty? Olee, you're the mechanic. We want to hear your insight on from a mechanical standpoint.
My opinion, which opinions are like elbows. Everybody's got them. But
elbows.
On the gas tank, that could go to me either way. If you had a good non-ethanol, a good fuel, you could store it with it totally full. And the thinking behind that is if it's totally full, it doesn't have room to sweat and, get water in the fuel over the time.
Moisture.
There again, you could run it completely dry and empty. And that way you don't have like buildup if you have junky fuel on the carburetor jet. So, but on the oil, my opinion on the oil is I wouldn't change it until the year started, depending on how your weather is, because you can also get crankcase sweat, like condensation. I don't know about different parts, but like in North Carolina, we have like super condensation, things sweat really bad. If it's not in a insulated, temperature controlled building, you will have, sweaty stuff, which can, cause some condensation in the crankcase on the oil. So to me, I'd wait till the new year rolled around. I'd get it good and hot, drain it, change it, and start from there on the oil side. That's my opinion. That's my 2 cents.
Now, is your perspective, you're coming from it because you got larger equipment, larger fuel tanks, there's, a little bit more stuff going on than like, say, my little, Toro recycler. The principle still holds. So I would imagine that for you, it's probably even more important.
But also for me, I hope to just keep mowing like I did last year for a long time.
Yeah. That's a problem you don't got to worry about.
So I hope not to winterize anything, honestly. I hope.
So how many seasons or how many times would it happen for that to like really affect the carburetors and gumming up and the jets and all that? Like, could it just be 1 year? And depending on the amount of moisture, or is it like
if it's some really junky fuel, it can be a couple months of just setting. And it also depends on, the horsepower or the size of the motor as far as jet size to be more sensitive. If it's a larger piece of equipment, the jets are larger. It's, less likely to gum up. If it's something smaller, the jets are smaller to the point where it's like a wire size or something, or maybe a 30 thousandths or a 60 thousandths hole. Well, it's going to gum up and be, won't run without the choke next spring. And that depends on the gas too. Like if you got a good gas or you put an additive in it, that shouldn't be such a problem.
Yeah. But
admittedly, I've done both. I've used like a fuel stabilizer. Well, actually all 3. So I've used a fuel stabilizer. I've run it totally dry. And I've not put fuel stabilizer and left like a full tank of gas in it. And I don't know. I haven't had any problems. I think a best practice is probably, like Olee said, store it with partial tank of gas with fuel stabilizer in it. But one thing I always do is I always run the line totally dry. So I think it's that way for a lot of mowers, but I know on my Honda, I know the Toros are the same way. You got that fuel kind of kill switch. So you can turn the fuel off to the engine and then you just sit there and let it run until it goes totally dry. And I've done the same with, there have been years where I've not changed the oil and years I've changed the oil. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
I was just gonna say, back to my original point, I don't know if there's a right or wrong. I think to Olee's point, if you, as long as you're not leaving headspace in there in the tank with kind of a non-ethanol gas, so you can get some condensation in there, and then obviously that's gonna cause some effects. But I think if you leave it full or put some stabilizer on there or run it completely dry. I know with me, I guess I never know if it's going to be exactly my last mow. and sure shit, I'll fill everything up and, think I got 3 more. And then it's like, oh, well, now I'm done for the season. So I don't want to just stand there with my lawnmower just running in the driveway for 3 hours. So there's a lot of times I'll just like, oh, okay, I'm going to fill it up, or I'll just splash a little bit of stable in there and call it good for the year. But also, like, my garage doesn't freeze, and so like I don't have any of that effect either. It's not like a shed in the back of the yard that's exposed to the wilderness. So at least it stays above freezing in there.
And so you don't have, when you're in something like that, you don't have the condensation to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be that way in other parts of the world, but in North Carolina, it can be super sweaty. I mean, things like that can sweat.
Yeah. It seems like maybe it's really just 2 strategies to accomplish the same goal, right? We want to preserve the engine and make sure the fuel stays, good, or whatever the correct phrase is. And maybe, whether you empty it out or you fill it up all the way, those 2 strategies could probably, accomplish the same thing. It just depends on what you prefer and what works for you. I mean, unless we're totally off base and one is obviously the right answer, which I don't think that's the case. I try to let my mower run dry as close as I can. I haven't used stabilizers in it yet, but I've only been doing this for a couple of years. And then I made a switch to electric now. So it's actually just sitting in my garage. It's been sitting there since I used it to cut the back one time, but I probably should do something here before it starts getting real cold. Maybe either fill it up or try to empty it out, one or the other. I don't know. So not a good definitive answer on that question, Lawn Radiant. Sorry, buddy. Unless anybody in the chat has something they can, any extra insight, but
there's gonna be. I think we have already enough questions in the live chat to fill up the entire show already. So honestly, we're not gonna be able to hit them all, and we'll try the best we can.
Well, let's get to another one. Which what do you see in there, Nate?
Probably the one I like the best is Live in the Middle, which we all know is Alex Carney's wife. And her question is what is the best way a wife can help her husband with lawn care? Help with watering, bring him a snack, or leave him the hell alone. I'm open to suggestions. So
it's a good wife.
He's a good sport, man.
Well, I'd say, the number one thing you can do is obviously on Tuesday nights, hop on KOTG livecast.
True.
Jump in the live chat, leave comments,
smash that
us,
like button, all that stuff,
and have fun. And hell, she's won a lot of free merch too. So, but definitely, I mean, just go with the flow. It's our thing. It's our passion. It's not all year long for most of us. Olee, you probably have like 10, 11 months of it. Me, it's more of a late March, April to like, Halloween time. So I know my wife just kind of puts up with it and deals with it. And every year it's just, she's getting more and more just like, oh, this is annoying. But then you get to the winter time and, you start planning it and talking about next year. But I'd say for the most part, just, let him do his thing. It's just like any other hobby. If you're golfing, if you're fishing, whatever it is, just kind of let him enjoy it.
I'm going to say she's already got it figured out.
Yeah, she's already got it.
She's got it figured out.
I do like the bring him a snack thing, so that's pretty good. Yeah, bring him a beer for sure.
I will say when our boys were little, I tried to mow when they were napping, their afternoon nap, and the wife could just do whatever she wanted. And now that they're a little bigger, somebody's got to keep an eye on them. They're in that phase where you can't just let them run free unsupervised. Somebody's got to keep an eye on them, and I can't do that when I'm mowing. So bless her heart, she watches the boys and keeps them entertained while I'm out there. But now, thankfully, we're finally getting to the age in this neighborhood that we're at the end of a cul-de-sac. The kids can kind of go play. When I was out a couple weekends ago doing all my dethatch and stuff to get ready for seeding, my wife was out in the mulch beds, trimming bushes and doing all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool getting her out there with us. So, I definitely look forward to opportunities where, the family's either out there or tangentially the kids are just playing and she's just whatever, or she could be inside at some point as they get old enough and the kids can just kind of play outside. And, I kind of keep them on, in the corner of my eye a little bit, but I guess it depends on what works for you guys for sure. But it's definitely, we all enjoy being out there, it's kind of our time to do our thing. So supporting us in that is pretty awesome.
Yeah, half the time my kids are just like, I just want to watch TV. So it was like Saturday, we had soccer and we got home from soccer and like had lunch and they were like, oh, I want to watch TV. I want to watch TV. And I was like, yeah, sure. Watch TV. I'm going outside.
Yeah, I'm going outside.
like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
All right, fine. You know what? Like we got up, we had breakfast. We had 2 different soccer games, back and forth. So I was like, you know what? You guys ran around literally half the day and played sports and got dirty. So sure, sit and watch TV and I'm going to go outside and play in the grass. So I don't know. That seems to be how it goes. not every time, but a lot of times it kind of seems to be how it goes. Like we'll do something. And then by the time I finally am like done with like morning family stuff and my kids are just like, beat and they're like kind of, they're too old for naps. Like they're like, oh, I'm not going to nap. I'm too big for that. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Sure you are, pal. I want a nap. Kidding me?
Nate, what else do you got on there? I see a good one from Jamie Gooch, a good question about Furton and seedlings. Did you have any other questions written down? No? Okay. So Jamie asks, what do you think is the best way for humic acid organics to push seedlings to get as established as possible after overseeding and bare spot seeding before cold weather? That's really cool because I'm in that same boat. It's about a week out from overseeding. It was last Monday I did it and I don't see any popping up yet. So you kind of get that like, are they going to germinate? Did I fuck up? How much longer is it going to be? Do I see? No, they're not. So if there are tips or strategies on how to push that, I almost feel like there's probably, they're going to germinate at whatever rate they germinate. The biggest thing is to keep them moist and, on the soil. I don't know if anything fertilizer and whatnot can really boost the germination part of it, but maybe once they do germinate, is there something we could do to help really get that root growth going as quickly as possible before the cold hits? What do you guys think?
Feed it about every 30 days with some nitrogen. And I love organics, but in the cooler weather, organics, they slow down. It's more for the organics work better when you got some heat. So basically, once you, like my theory is once you have 30 days after you have germination, hit it with that half pound of N. Then another 30, 40 days after that, hit it with another half a pound of N and try to push some root growth before the ground freezes. Now, if the ground's froze, give up. Don't fertilize frozen ground.
Yep.
That makes sense. I put down like a slow release fertilizer, the Pro-Pete with it, but then, about a month out, I was thinking about doing like a simple lawn application of their like lawn booster or something that's got some good nitrogen in it, just to give it something, by then it should be germinating, something quick acting that they can gobble up now and, keep that train rolling, I guess was my theory. I don't know if things like humic acids or any of those types of things would have any impact at this time. You're probably looking for, some quick nitrogen, something that can take up right away.
Yeah, and I'm saying ammonium sulfate's what I'll be using.
Yeah,
something quick.
Mm. Yeah, after I usually when I overseed or seed, like, so after I get that first mow in, then I kind of start doing like spoon feeding it with the 600. So I've been doing that, real quick, light app, walking super quick, just fanning it out like every week since I started mowing it. So I'll just go out real quick.
You're using 600, the iron, or using 1648?
600. I'm out of 1648. I think what I did last year is I mixed it up when I did that. And then I'll do hopefully this weekend, because I'll see if my fertilizer gets here in time, but hopefully it's here by this weekend. And then I'll do another fertilizer, like granular application Pro-Pete, maybe this weekend, and then slow it back on the spoon feeding, but just to try to keep pushing it but I also want to mix it up too, and not have it just be all nitrogen, right? Because what have we said in the past, right? You got your 3 numbers on your bag. It's you're growing up, down, and all around, right?
Yep.
So kind of, I always think of it like, yeah, I want to grow up too, but I want to grow down and get the roots as strong as possible, and then kind of all around, and kind of lock in some of the, using the I don't even know. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, it's kind of locking in nutrients for the.
It's good to get some. It's good to get some potassium down, especially for people who have like snow mold and stuff of that, like winter stress. So
yes, yeah, and that's like
in the chat. Home Turf Consulting mentioned propiconazole to help establish the grass a little bit better too. And I in the back of my head, I vaguely remember at some point somebody saying about that. There's some kind of side effect of it that maybe helps the vigor or something like that of the grass seed. Does that ring a bell for you guys at all?
I don't know.
The propiconazole.
Yeah.
A lot of people use that during trying to get things to germinate, just because you're putting down so much water.
I have a bag of it.
But
I was thinking about that, because I have so much existing grass and I really wanted to water it. So I have a bag of the Disease X or BioAdvance, whichever one has the propiconazole, whatever brand it was. I think it's BioAdvance. And I was debating putting that down. I hadn't done it because I was like, we'll see how it goes. But shoot, I might just do it now. I'll do some.
I was going to say, then leave
and
bounce.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Out of here. It's pouring down rain. Got to get that down. Too late.
The other thing about the propiconazole that people use is also, if you're overseeding and you have pre-existing turf, propiconazole is actually like a plant growth regulator. It can help slow things down to the babies or the seedlings get to going.
That's interesting. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. That's a cool idea. I would like to educate myself a bit on that. All right. So what's next here? Where are we at? Let's see.
Somebody said something about talked about dormant seeding and asked if it was Nate that did it, but it was Zach that had dormant seeded a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I can't say I've really ever done that, but I forget who asked that, but somebody had said something about dormant seeding. So
I did that on a small spot in December one year. Did like one little kind of like a patch repair, and it I didn't think to go back and check it first thing in the spring or a couple of weeks after things woke up, but that spot wasn't bare anymore at some point during the season. So at some point that seed germinated. Now was doing it in the middle of winter beneficial in any way? I don't know. I didn't pay close enough attention, but it worked. I'll say that, at least where I'm at, it worked fine.
Yeah, I got some spots. My overseed just didn't take it all, and it's the area I've struggled with. Like, it just gets very little sunlight, very little like watering wise. Like it's a hard spot to hit because it's going to be like in a corner, and so I have to like manually water it all the time, and it just, I don't know, it never takes. I've tried it like 2 or 3 times, so I think I'm going to try here maybe in a month or so, get some topsoil, throw some more soil down on it. I don't know. And then I'm going to probably just dormant seed just to see what comes back in the spring. And if it doesn't come back at all, then maybe I'll try it again in the spring. So. But
yeah, that's kind of been my I don't know, experience or plan with a lot of stuff, is that if something happens, or like, I get poor germination, or I still have like, crappy spots or missed a spot or whatever the case may be. Right. Like I'm still, so for instance, right. I did my overseed and had to seed in some of the areas over by my fence, on the far side, like kind of by my pool, right, where they had dug the post holes, for my new fence, and just had a bunch of dirt. Now all of that stuff had been raked out. I had all these little piles of dirt and crap, and raked all that stuff out. Just said, all right, I'm going to wait till the fall. Went back, seeded it, and I'm just not having really great germination. Now part of that is, I'm trying to grow it literally right up to the fence line. And just the way that the fence is and the way that the sun rises and sets, it does not get a lot of sunlight. It's kind of crappy. So I'm having really kind of a worse germination rate. Like I'm having a crappier germination rate over there in this one corner. I can put it in like my Instagram story tomorrow morning or something. But idea is, if I have crappy germination now, I'm just going to try to go back in the springtime and I'll just keep the pre-emergent away from that area. And I'll go ahead and put some seed down then instead of trying to do something like a dormant seed. Although, I don't know, maybe I should try it because we've talked about it before and I can't think of a time when I ever did it. So I don't know, maybe I should do it and see if I have any luck. And then I'll be in a better position to say something about dormant seeding because I don't know. So
yeah,
one or the other.
I had that thought too, because I every time I overseed, I have that panic attack about a weekend that I screwed things up and it's not going to work. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, okay, so if the areas that I seeded and are a little bit thin and I wanted to fix up heavier, if that didn't really work out, maybe I could forego, the pre-emergent in the spring, try to get that turf going and then maybe do it before, when I would like Nate and I think Nate, you'd like to do a split app like I do, maybe I could do the second half of that split app going into summer, maybe play catch up that way. So, I guess it stands to be seen how things turn out this fall, whether I do that or not. But, I may be in the same boat with you if things don't go out as, especially if it gets colder too, if it gets cold too soon and things just can't get going. I might do that next spring too, Brent. Experiments.
Yeah.
So do you guys know what vinyl burn is? Fescue operator asked if we've ever dealt with vinyl burn along the fence line. I guess I'm guessing it's like a vinyl fence thing, maybe yellowing up the grass or something.
I just kind of put in the chat replying to him. But so my thought is what he's talking about is, you get maybe the sun's directly hitting it and bouncing off. It's kind of like a driveway, the grass right by your driveway is typically a few degrees hotter. So I'm wondering if that's what he's talking about, where, at the bottom of like your plastic fencing, if you have, and I'm not talking like a chain link fence, more of like your solid panels, kind of like Brent, what you put in, you may see it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an area where the sun is directly hitting it all day long, I wonder if the base of that, if your soil is hotter than, 10 feet away.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Especially
I don't know
because it's white vinyl, that's
new fence for me. I haven't ever had it white vinyl fence before, so I'm not sure. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah. But I guess it does make sense, right? That if it's literally just like radiating and reflecting sunlight all day, I mean, I could see it being warmer in one spot, but I haven't experienced it.
I remember Ryan Knorr did a video here. I don't know if it was this summer or last summer, but he had talked about like where his shed was in his backyard, the area like right in front of it, like it was like different from everything else. And he talked about kind of that could be why, or either it's, on the other side of it, it might be all shade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it might, the opposite on the other side of it.
I like to see some
tough. I'm always jealous of those.
Of it.
He says white.
That'd be good to see.
He says white vinyl. So yeah, it's possible. I think it's possible. It makes sense, especially that plastic. They talk about, artificial turf and how much hotter.
Come on, TA, give a real donation. That's cheap. Give a real donation.
I was going to say, I think those the warm season guys down south that have, they cut it real short and the grass just looks amazing right up to the fence line. The fence lines are like my nemesis. I hate my fence in the backyard. I always have. Dealing with that with cool season grass, it's so frustrating. It never grows good. It's scraggly, nasty, whatever. You got to weed eat it, and it's just like So yeah, I'm jealous of those guys with the short lawns that have it just go right up to the fence, man. That's just that's chef's kiss right there. That's good stuff.
That's one reason. That's one reason I will not put up a fence in my yard, just because I don't want to trim around it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing with choosing the white vinyl is like, now that I do have some areas where the grass is filled in, like right up to the fence, and now I have to go through and weed whack it. I'm like trying to be super careful with it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep like weed whacking into the fence, and then it's going to sling chlorophyll like all over the white vinyl, and then I got to go back and clean it off, or like now it's
power wash it
shitty at the bottom because it's all covered in green and chipped or scratched or whatever. So I'm like,
we gotta get those rotary scissors that everybody got those videos of. We've been seeing, man. I thought about that.
Yeah,
on the fence line if it would do any good, but I'd probably screw that up too. And then I just start chewing into my fence. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like I took like a circular saw to the bottom of it, right? Like just have like a real hard line.
Yeah. At the rental, they must have done something where they maybe burnt the ground or salted it, because like along this old wood fence, nothing would grow, not even weeds. I don't know if they had somebody come and like round up it, as part of the property, maintenance folks, but I don't know what they did in that area, but along the fence line, nothing grew. So that was less of a problem. But yeah, I don't know what they did to have it do that.
I've seen some people do that. Somebody had mentioned, I saw somebody did that on Instagram, and I wish I could remember who it was, but I saw somebody's post where they literally went through with Roundup and just sprayed it in like maybe 1 inch off of the edge of the fence, like all the way around the property line. Just so that they, number one, didn't have to screw with hitting it with the weed whacker. And I guess also, I know one of the houses, to me, they do nothing to their lawn. So it's literally just like, I'll get ivy and creeping Charlie and clover and all sorts of shit that just kind of grows underneath the fence. So I guess it could also, be a barrier to stop the spread of some of that stuff as well. If the fence isn't sitting like, literally directly on the soil. So, but I have seen that. I wish I could remember who posted that, but not a bad idea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Nate and Olee, you guys don't really have that problem. You guys don't have fences.
No, fences make good neighbors, though.
Yeah.
I will say that fences make good neighbors. That's the reason I got trees.
There
Trying to build a tree fence.
Yeah. It's looking good too. I like that. I thought about that, putting up some of those the arborvitaes or whatever along the back just to give some privacy. So yeah, that's helpful too, for sure.
So they're impressive. What I've got is green giant Lethusias. And when I planted them, they were no bigger than this sun drop bottle. Or Sprite. Sorry, Sprite. That's crazy that now they're probably pushing 18 feet. And I planted them in awesome. I planted them in 2015. 88 of them.
Wow.
And it hurts. Every once in a while I lose one, and it hurts for them to get gone.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Girls' lawn.
Oh,
it's a mess.
All right.
What else you got, Bill?
I saw somebody had asked, let's see where it is. Joe H was asking about lateral spread fescue. It's specifically Artibus. If Olee has any info, I don't know, but he was asking, thinking, it looks like maybe he was thinking about plug-in fescue. And I guess he was asking, how much can you expect with that lateral spread to fill in if you were to try to plug some area? I always thought that the lateral spread it's not like, it's on a different level than like something like Bermuda or something. It's not going to be, if that's what you're expecting, you're not going to get that, but I don't really know.
I think more of, I know Barenbrug's RTF, they said over time, like give it time, nothing
Years. Quick,
but it will start getting rhizomes. And that's one thing, but the lateral spread, I think it just is a bigger, to my knowledge, it's just a bigger clump. It will just spread. It's not going to grow like bluegrass or Bermuda. It's not going to fill in.
It's more of it has like a fatter footprint as it matures, essentially. Like it fills in more space.
To my knowledge, yes. I mean, don't expect to plant it in it. No.
Yeah. That's kind of the sense I got, is it's kind of in its little area, but maybe a little bit wider than it would have been otherwise. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right. What else do we got here?
There was in the beginning of the show, there was 72 questions, and now it's like you got to scroll back and find them all.
I know. I was doing that. Another Sucker's Lawn did ask. He asked me about the flipped handle on the edger, using that to try to do my edging. I did it a couple times. It seemed to help. I did just watch a video that the lawn dude put up, and he has his handle on the right way and he holds it upside down and he uses his thumb, it looks like, to stabilize. So I don't know if that's better than gripping it like this if you use a thumb to stabilize it. So I might try that, see if it's any better. But I feel like it's a little bit more stable than grabbing the shaft. The shaft, you can kind of twist around too much and it goes everywhere. And then the status of the vole, a little sucker, he's still there, man. Still there. You
haven't got rid of him yet?
No, I tried to sit out there and wait for him. Never popped up. I bought some of those Volex little tablety things. That didn't do a damn. He didn't eat those things. He didn't care. So now I'm just kind of like, all right, well, my neighbor offered up a trap, so I might try to do a trap or something. I mean, I don't really want to kill the thing. I feel, I don't like to kill stuff. So if I could trap him, maybe. And then we have open fields near the subdivision that I could just let him go in, and he'd probably have a heyday out there. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough problem. I got a coworker actually who deals with raccoons all the time, ripping up his stuff, looking for grubs, and he's having a heyday hearing about me and my vole problem. Thinks it's hilarious. Not so much. But as long as he stays in his little spot, I don't know. I'll keep trying different stuff. So trap is next, to be continued.
Is he still tearing up your yard like with tunnels?
Not so much. Now, I haven't seen it since we got this massive rain that we've had all day. I'll be curious to see what it looks like tomorrow morning. I'm sure he's looking for food. And there was a spot just in front of where he was earlier this year where it was kind of struggling a lot. And I assumed, okay, maybe that's fungus. I had pulled it up and the grass didn't come out, but maybe I didn't pull hard enough. I don't know. Anyway, so maybe there are some grubs back there he's looking for. So that was the main reason I bought the proconazole. And I ended up not using it. So I may end up using it after all. But if there's grubs in there, that little guy's going to go to town. So I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm curious to hear from everybody in the chat if you guys have any like little tests or anything that you're doing. Like, are you doing any test plots? Are you trying out something new? Or is there anything that you're kind of, I don't know, like, dipping your toe into to try something new in your yard that you haven't tried before? And if anybody's got any thoughts, any little projects that they're working on, because I'd like to hear about those and kind of chat about them. Because I'm all for trying something new. I got my little 365 plot over on the side in my side yard that I'm trying out something new and never done before. Like, never done straight Kentucky bluegrass, and I'm gonna try it out.
Do you notice a difference in color from the new Kentucky blue? Is it a lot more like lime-ish color than your front yard?
Yeah, that is something I noticed, which I figured, like, I fertilized everything the same like all year long, so theoretically the nutrients should be the same. I haven't done a specific soil test on that, like just for that side. So I might do an extra soil test, but it's starting to darken up now. But yeah, when it first came in, it was like a little more kind of brighter green, especially compared, like, because you could see in those pictures that I did where I planted the tall fescue on the one side of my property line on my neighbor's yard.
Yeah,
because in leveling all that out, like, right, I was messing with his lawn, because that whole area was just kind of like a swell, and get rainwater would sit in there. So I leveled all that out and I planted the tall fescue on his side of the property line and the bluegrass on mine. So it was just such a stark difference, right? Like, looking at the color contrast when they first started germinating and growing. And it did seem like kind of like almost this lime green, kind of lighter green, I guess you will, but it seemed to darken up a little bit and still like a lighter color. So I'm interested to see kind of like how it goes, but I've been treating it the same way. So
yeah, like I've noticed, like, where my swing set's coming in, I can see it being a little bit more lime green, but then when I had my drone out Sunday, I couldn't see it from aerial, but looking at it, I can see it. But
that's cool. Lawn Radiant said he's growing some iron cutter Bermuda in trays in his garage. That's pretty cool.
Interesting. Yeah, Eve does it. Looks like she's got let's see, 3 test plots. You're doing 100% fine fescue 1, 100% rye, and then a blend of the 2. That's kind of cool. Seeing yeah, which one does better, which one looks better. That's kind of cool. Let's see, what else do we got? Highlander's gonna mow some strips, different type of seed in those areas, so we can use them as test plots. The test plot idea seems pretty cool. That's interesting, just to have fun to experiment on stuff. I like that. I haven't done a darn thing in my backyard yet. I'll be honest. It looks like garbage. And I'm like, I almost got to thinking, what if I did clover in the backyard? Everybody talks about these clover lawns. I was like, I could do that maybe. But then I was like, the kids are terrified of bees and shit. Like, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, yes, the pollinators, but if it's going to be a space that the kids may actually use, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts? Like maybe if you had a small plot of grass that you don't really intend to walk on much or whatever, you didn't want to do it, you could do clover. But I also thought, maybe it would spread into the neighbors and they get pissed eventually too. I don't know. How do you control that aside from Roundup or something? So
you might end up with a bunch of deer.
That's true too. Yeah. Eating little flowers.
Have to get the bow out.
I always get like in my front yard and on my side yard, there's always like one area every single year that there's clover, and I'll spray it. It'll kind of die off and they'll be good. And then every year it comes back in that same exact spot. I've heard can be from a lack of nitrogen, which is kind of, it's not like I specifically missed that spot or anything like that. So it's kind of weird that it's always the exact same spot every single year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The clover comes back in the exact same spot every year.
Yeah.
So you're not killing it to the root then.
No. Yeah. Apparently it's
try some
right now it's gone. It's not, it's gone completely. And then like I said, every year it comes back, and every time my neighbor, he'll fucking take a picture of it and he'll send it to me and he'll say, I see some clover every goddamn time.
Use some. What are you using to spray it? What are you spraying on it?
I'll have to look and see what it was. But it kills it off. Matter of days, it's gone. But then like I said, every year, next year it'll come back.
If it's in the same spot, you can't be killing a root.
Yeah, obviously
triclopyr is a good one.
Yep. Man, the old adult dating site is hot tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Probably that cheap guy that keeps giving us $2 and $3.
Yeah, probably. Got nothing better to do than sit and watch a show that he hates.
Yeah.
People talking about grass that he hates.
He's still mad about Barren Road.
It's gotta be some life right there.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's cool. Whatever. Thanks for the views.
Yeah.
So hey, we should do Lawn of the Week. I have Lawn of the Week pulled up. I was able to get on Instagram and get up a computer, so we'll see how it goes. But
that's my mom.
No, it's not.
No, the adult dating thing.
I know. I said no, it was not. It was not.
Oh man. Well, those of you in the live chat, you guys know, but Keep Off the Grass, Lawn of the Week is a weekly competition we do. Encouraging folks to kind of be part of the community and show off their lawns and all the hard work they're putting in. So if you're going to post a picture of your lawn or something out in your yard or make a reel, use the hashtag Keep Off the Grass or KOTG Lawn of the Week. And we all follow that hashtag and we're looking at it throughout the week. We, shoot each other pictures or the reels, and we, debate some of the favorites from the past week. And we pick Lawn of the Week, and they get eternal bragging rights. They get into the elite club of Keep Off the Grass Lawn of the Week club. And then they also get their choice of Pro Peat fertilizer, anything you can get on Home Depot, 25-pound bag, anything that you can find on the website, and the Fossil as well now that they have that new product out. You get your choice of that too. If you're in the US, we don't ship overseas, unfortunately, but we can do swag. So if you're out down south, up north, I think Rhett's going to get some, something. I don't know what they're going to send him, but Actually, I need to find out. He said he's got parents at vacation in Texas, actually. So he might try to coordinate to where we can ship fertilizer to them in Texas, and they can. I don't want to out him on that. Never mind. That doesn't happen. They don't. Never mind. We're going to send him some swag. It's going to be awesome. He's going to love the hat. He'll never get the tri-pro, Pete, but he'll get to wear a hat or something. So congrats. And anyway, okay. So yeah. So this week, this week's winner, let me see if I can do my share my screen here.
So okay, question on that. So even if you shipped it to Texas and he got it, he would like literally have to bootleg it across international, like, you know what I mean? And like, so what if he used it and got busted? Like, I mean, that'd be.
Well, I wasn't talking to him. There was this other guy in Canada I was talking to, and he was saying that when his parents drive up from down south, the guys at the border, they just ask if you have any, I think it's like synthetic or any chemicals. Like they don't, supposedly, like it wouldn't be a big deal, specifically because of what Propeed is. They're looking for stuff, I guess, maybe with herbicides, pesticides, pre-emergence. They're more about that kind of stuff than the fertilizer itself. So maybe there's less of an issue there, but it sounds like, I mean, once it's across the border, if it's in there, nobody's going to question you. I don't think. I don't know. You know.
I bet there's still regulations. That's like saying.
Well, sure there is. Like, but who's gonna know what you're doing unless they happen to see you out there? Like, wait a minute, I don't recognize that bag. What are you doing? I don't know. Or you got nosy neighbors that hate you, and you know that could be too. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's good fertilizer though. It is good stuff. Okay, here we go. So this week's winner is up north too. Not, he's in the US, but hold on. Sorry. Yes, here we go. His name's Patrick. And 207 Lawn Legend.
Love it.
Up in New England, looks like.
I like that little walkway that he's got going out to the garage or cottage or something.
I open this up. Look at that. Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah. Walk. I don't know. That's pretty awesome. I like that walkway though.
Yeah, that is nice. Gives him an extra edge to play with too.
That's sweet.
I can pull up another one. I got this thing out of my way. Okay. Here we go. That's pretty darn good. I like that.
What's up, bitches?
What's up,
Hey,
Whoa!
you made it.
What's this guy in the car? He's getting changed in the car. And...
Yeah, I'm just leaving.
He's got his
dedication.
Yeah, man, look
there.
at that. Look at that. Dude.
He's got the old collared shirt.
Shoo.
What are you guys looking at?
Lawn of the week,
KOTG Lawn of the Week, man. KOTG legend. Congrats, brother.
207
Yeah.
Lawn Legend.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's sick.
Zach, you missed our number one fan coming in the chat and supporting us tonight.
Who's that?
Someone who
super DA.
Super TAs.
DA.
Being silly.
Super Dome.
Baron Brug's number one customer.
Yeah, he loves some Baron Brug. Mr. I cannot germinate.
Yo, Nate, we got to figure out where we're staying if we're going to GIE.
I know.
I thought you was bringing
Guys are
sleeping
gonna
bags.
Shit out of luck, bro.
Yeah. So
Man.
So GIE is 1 week away, and me and Zach officially do not have a hotel booked or anything. But Olee did say bring your sleeping bag, and we may have a floor to crash on.
Yep. Can't promise you nothing else.
You just got to show up at his door. What's he going to do? He can't say no. All right, guys, come on in.
He owes us.
I mean, that's what he did last year, so it's only right.
Yeah.
You know?
We could technically show up at 5 a.m. and knock on the door, and we're even.
Yeah,
I
should do that.
I done my best to sleep across the front seat of my truck. I done my best. I didn't want to come in on y'all at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but you know what? When the door opened, both of y'all was wide damn awake.
Well, considering, I mean,
I was wide awake. Nate was sleeping and snoring like crazy. I was wide awake because of that.
No, we both jumped up. We're like, yay! Like we were ready to party.
Party
ready to party. If you would have had
I'd been
beers
better
here,
off to sleep on the flatbed. I tried to sleep across the front seat and it didn't work.
If you would have had beers in your hand, I guarantee we would have got up and drank them with you.
Oh, 100%.
All I know is that door went beep, 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 click, and the door opened and both of y'all started talking.
Well,
and then 15 minutes later, me and Brent were giggling because you were up there sounding like a bear against the ceiling.
Oh shit.
you know.
Well, I wonder, Olee, I wonder if the place you're at has other options open still.
No,
I honestly don't know.
I looked on there. I tried looking, and there was nothing available. Is what it said.
Oh, fuck, dude, we're screwed.
There was a pretty good like homeless community down there. I bet they'd welcome us.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Why not?
I wonder if we could just like stay at the GIE venue and like
Just go in the bathroom when they start shutting all the lights off.
yeah.
Yeah, like all those guys on TikTok that are like, I'm gonna camp out in Walmart. Hide in Walmart for the night, you know.
I haven't
You see
seen
that
those
at the
yet.
convention center. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought about, as a kid, you think about, oh yeah, I'm gonna, not leave. What would happen? That now we can have people film themselves doing that. That's wild.
Yeah.
What would happen? Well, hey, I got a few questions and a story I posted, and one of them I thought was really interesting, and I really wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this question. So Matthias Zakari, he's out in Germany. He's one of our overseas followers, but he asked, one of the questions he asked I thought was really good was, he said, what does sustainability in lawn care mean to you? And I think as folks that, put ourselves out there online, posting pictures of us in our yard, inevitably some folks are going to get some pushback from folks that don't like home lawns and stuff. And I wanted to ask you guys, I love that question. What do you guys think? What does that mean to you guys? What does sustainability mean to you guys in lawn care?
Here's my question: what does sustainability mean in any
I don't
industry
really know
or realm?
But like,
what would it mean? What does it mean to you? Like, how, obviously, nothing we do in our lives is probably carbon neutral. We're all contributing in some way, but, if somebody's talking about wanting to be more sustainable lawn care, if you were to try to do that, what would that mean to you? Like, what would you do to try to be more sustainable? I have my own thoughts, but I wanted to see what you guys thought. Are
they talking like minimal inputs and stuff? Is that what he's talking?
I don't know. Just maybe try to be a more responsible, lawn care, gardener, outdoorsman person. You're working out in the environment. We're we're doing inputs. We're using water. We're using equipment. What does that? What does that mean to you? My thought is we're trying to not put stuff down that's not needed. We don't. We want to try to follow the science as best we can and make the grass healthy. And by doing that, I feel like we are being more sustainable than, say, a homeowner who just goes and gets a bag from the big box store and dumps it down, doesn't know what they're doing. They're overwatering. I got neighbors that their sprinklers are going all the time in the summer, but their lawn's already dead. So it's just wasteful. Like, how are they better stewards of the environment while also having a nice lawn? I think, us by trying to do things the right way, I think that goes a long way to trying to be more sustainable or better for the environment, let's say. I don't know.
I will say each year I think it gets easier. So, if you're following nice cultural practices every year, I think year after year, I just think there'll be less inputs needed, once you get a thick strand of turf and
yeah.
But
plus as you learn over the years, you find out that all the stuff is not necessarily to buy. And I like what Highlander said. That's my biggest thing. Like, turf produces oxygen. I know I catch a lot of crap about killing all the bees and stuff, which I have a garden. The garden's not in the picture, but I have bees. But the other thing is, good thick turf also eliminates erosion, and I would like to, I know somewhere there was a good post about how much O2, how much oxygen turf produced today. Mm-hmm. And, so I guess the other thing you could do is lay around and eat Cheetos all day and not do nothing. And, mine keeps me busy.
Yeah. I think, if you're trying to use good cultural practices, and I think that I agree exactly with what Zach was saying, that, it did feel like when I was at my old place and I had a few seasons there and I kind of was starting to get the hang of all this, it did feel like the grass was starting to do well on its own and needed less effort from me to kind of intervene with fertilizer and watering. It did better in the summer. If you use a slow release fertilizer, it's more sustained. You're not getting excessive growth, and you're not putting stuff down that could get washed out as easily as, say, a high nitrogen synthetic fertilizer. So just try to do it smart, I guess. Anyway, yeah. I thought that was a cool question, and I wanted to get
Cheetos too.
Well, no, and a lot of people
That's a Ron
kinda
White
said,
joke.
I think a lot of people said, like, if you mow, said it, who's your plant daddy said it. Do a soil test and only put down what you need, instead of just kind of, willy-nilly throwing stuff at your lawn and not knowing what it is. So I guess in that sense, sustainability in lawn care is educating yourself, to kind of know exactly, number one, what you're doing and what your grass plants are, because I've said that to people in comments on my Instagram page before, like, okay, yeah, so you want to have a garden? That's great. You want to grow flowers and pollinators? That's great. I'm growing something too. Like, and you're still going to treat your soil or somehow fertilize your garden or your vegetables or whatever it is that you're growing. I mean, I guess, yeah, sure, you can do that organically, but you're still those plants still need, nutrients. Healthy nutrients to grow. So
yeah,
it's really the same thing. Like, okay, I just have a 5,000 square foot garden of different types of little plants.
So here's this question I thought about. So if you're saying a way to be sustainable and a way to be responsible is by getting a soil test and targeting what you need, right? So if you got a company like True Green that just comes out and puts down a blanket application that is, in the spring we do this, in the summer we do this, in the fall we do this, for, areas,
essentially.
Areas, you drive up and down the street and you see 50 flags, in the town, right? So could you honestly look at that and say, by using a True Green, you're not sustainable, or you're not, you're not truly doing it the right way, because you're not targeting what you need. You're just throwing at the lawn whatever it's going to throw.
Yeah, right? I agree for sure. And if it is over application, you got a whole area that's getting it. You get a heavy rain, all that stuff's going to get washed down in the drainage system, whatever. So if you're taking control and taking ownership of your yard, your lawn, I think you could do much better for the environment, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you could look at stuff like, okay, now let's talk about the production of fertilizer and how much water lawns need versus natural stuff. And I look at that like, okay, the world as it is today, most neighborhoods, you're going to have lawns. I don't think you could really have your entire front yard just be wild whatever. There's some kind of, maybe not everybody has to have, some stipulation about what's allowed. We do on some level, but it's not super restrictive. So I got neighbors in the neighborhood, and lawn care is not their thing. Their lawns aren't bastions of pollinator habitat. They're just dead fucking turf with some crabgrass and some, it's a lawn, but it's not a lawn, So whether or not you do nothing and you let nature take over, it's been years that these yards have kind of looked like this. You know what I mean? They'll still cut it maybe once or twice a year, but it's not going to turn into a pollinator sanctuary just by sitting there. You have to be active with it too. So what's the alternative? Shit lawns that don't have all the benefits of a nice lawn, essentially.
Yeah. And like the other thing is, you walk by a lawn that's maybe a super nice lawn in a neighborhood, and a lot of people think, oh, they just throw chemicals at it or whatever it is. Because right. I mean, I can tell you right now, everything I put on my lawn my kids, and even my wife's like, oh, it's chemical. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I could spray Humic, and it's like, oh, you're putting down chemical.
Right, exactly.
Which I do. I'll be honest, I do kind of use that to my advantage sometimes. I'm like, yep, you got to stay off the lawn for at least 24 hours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Stay
yeah,
back, kids,
highly toxic. You gotta stay away.
So
Stay away.
I have some of those signs from like neighbors' yards and stuff. You know, where they like the company will come and they'll put the sign in your yard, keep off for 24 hours is just treated. I have some of those in my garage. So whenever I spray anything, I'll go out there and I'll stick those in my yard and just, I sprayed something. You got to stay off the yard. You know, and I always do that. It doesn't matter what it is. I can fucking water the lawn and I'll tell them that.
I sprayed water, get off.
But my point is, you know, you look at a lawn, it's, you know, really, really nice, super green. And like a lot of people think instantly, oh, it's, you know, they do a lot to it, or there's a lot, you know, a lot of chemicals or a lot of whatever it is that they have to do, you know. But you know, someone made comments earlier, you know, if you get your pH in line, if you get all your stuff in line, you can probably have less inputs to keep it where it needs to be, you know, less watering, probably less nitrogen. And also if you're spoon feeding, it makes it look like you're out there every 2-3 weeks or whatever spraying. But if you're only putting down like 0.1, it's actually way less inputs. It's just, you're just doing it a lot more. So, But so, I mean, it's tough to measure, you know what I mean? When you're sitting there saying what is sustainable versus what is not, you know, I mean, if I target 4 pounds and I put down 4 pounds, is that, you know, is that good? Is that bad? Is it, you know, too much? Is it not enough? I don't know. That's what I targeted for the year, and that's what my goal is. And that's what I built my plan around. So
I don't know. I'm like thinking about, you know, and being environmentally friendly. I mean, that's why I got rid of all the cattle that I used to raise on my property. You know, contributing to carbon emissions and whatnot, you know.
Because they fart, right?
Methane emissions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had a question on one of our posts leading up to the show on Instagram I thought was interesting, about grass seed rates and rates of application and stuff. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah. I'll ask this one to you guys.
Yeah, here we go.
What is your biggest like pet peeve in the lawn? Like just in lawn care in general, like what's your biggest pet peeve?
Like it's something that we have to do or okay, yeah.
Anything. Will it be like me, it drives me freaking nuts when the delivery people, you know, walk through the yard just because it's like pure laziness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'd be different if it wasn't like, you know, like you said, if it's a shit lawn and you walk through it, but like I saw a video today where a delivery person had their like moped or something and like literally like drove through the yard like on their moped, you know what I mean? And it's just like, are you kidding me? But anyways.
That would, if I had that problem, that would piss me off. Especially if it's like, you know, people that, you know, may park where their tires are in your grass and it ruins it, or their wives back out of the driveway and go right into their side yard, you know, that kind of stuff's like, damn it. Now, you know, what do I do with this now?
She has not done that since we blew her up about that. So
like,
I will say this. Anytime I drive her car and I have to back out of the driveway, my mirrors, I am checking everywhere because I am damned if I do it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Dude, could you imagine the satisfaction from your wife?
She would
imagine if you did it, that just the hell that you would catch.
What did Stripe Life just do?
Just the stare. I mean, just that blank stare with that smile. I'd be like, stop.
I already know, babe. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think Zach was saying irrigation, man. I hate watering the grass, dude. I try to set up my little timers and try to keep it as low, I'm not involved in the process. I like to set them up and move them to mow and put them right back. But even that, it's like, God damn, I wish I had in-ground irrigation, man. That, this is just, I don't like dealing with this stuff, Plus you see them out in the grass too. I keep them out in the summertime. So they're sitting out there. I try to minimize it. I almost don't even see them anymore, but I know, they're out there. So yeah, irrigation is like.
The thing is, even if like I had it in ground, I still think it'd be a pain in the ass because you still have to like fuck with it all the time and do stuff to it or I don't know. I feel like there'd always be issues that I'd have to be fixing, and that just sounds gross.
Yeah, that's my fear about in-ground is like, something's going to burst, and I would have to learn on the fly, you guys. I'm not experienced at all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my hesitation. One of them anyway about that. It's like, what if something breaks? Fuck, now what do I do? I got to figure this out.
Yeah. I really didn't even irrigate that much this year. I didn't irrigate my backyard at all. I didn't put the sprinklers on the backyard at all this year. And then
did it go dormant?
No, I mean, it held on pretty good. I mean, there were definitely some spots that were like pretty dormant. But I mean, it bounced back pretty good. But I didn't run the sprinklers like at all in the summertime in the back. And then the front, I mean, it was.
You freeze up.
We're all like,
am I frozen or is he frozen?
Hey,
whole
by
thing
the
is-
way,
the
Bill,
whole thing-
stop, man.
The whole thing.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe that's a sign.
Damn it, Brent.
Hello.
Brett, you're froze on the screen. I don't know if you can hear us.
I can hear you. Yeah.
You're just froze with the hand
Move.
right here in the sweater like
Move.
that.
Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Brent,
Oh,
raise
man.
your right hand.
I'm
There
back.
he is.
There he is.
Back. No.
I was sitting there like this.
Yeah.
Looking all dapper. Yeah.
Magic trick.
All right. So Wayne SR asked on our post, says, I need to know more about seed size. He said he was trying to see if we talked about that in that episode we had with all the info about the seed labels and stuff. And I was curious too, because it sounds like maybe he's wondering about, is that why you have different pounds per 1,000 square feet? Is for each pound of seed, how many actual seeds are there in there? And I think what ryegrass is much bigger than say bluegrass, so you're getting far fewer number of seeds in a certain weight. So that's why you would do a higher application rate so that you still get similar numbers of viable seed. That's my thought. But I was trying to look up today pictures of them, like a little side by side, and I couldn't find anything that was good. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe does that sound right to you guys? I don't know. Nate, you're on mute.
I was gonna say, like with bluegrass, it's gonna spread over time. So you don't want to like for me, like in my back, when germinating the bluegrass, I don't want it to be just dense as shit right now because I know it's bluegrass. I know it's gonna still kind of fill in. So like next spring, I'm interested to see like how it's gonna come in, how it's gonna fill out a little bit. So I think that's the difference too between like a fescue and a rye versus a blues.
That makes sense. Yeah, just the nature of the grass, if you need as
Yeah.
much seed or not. Yeah.
So
Well, definitely there's a size difference. If you ever see a Kentucky bluegrass seed beside a fescue seed, it's night and day.
yeah.
And
Like I
then-
know like when I was seeding the 365, I mean it's so light, and so if there was any breeze at all, like it was not dropping straight down. It would blow away and everything. And like I literally had to like kind of make sure I was going with the wind, and that way it was throwing it out in front of me. Because if I was trying to go into the wind, it was like throwing it back into my shoes. So Brent, I don't know if you experienced that when you were doing yours on the
Oh
side.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I specifically chose like a super, because that whole weekend I was kind of watching the weather, going like, all right, well, what's the wind doing? So it was a little bit windy, and then so that's why I decided on Labor Day. It was like there was like a space where there was no wind, so I went out there and put it down at that point because some real fine stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think when I was doing mine, it's a mix, but definitely, if you're gonna use a spreader setting and you haven't spread it before, I start real low on the setting and then see how much comes out and kind of work my way up. Because I don't know, trying to trying to read the labels on what to set a spreader on. I've never found that to work. I've always had to kind of start low and ramp it up. Nothing is exactly the way it should be, you know, nothing standard, it seems like. So go slow and ramp up for sure.
I think that's pretty cool. So 1,000 square feet makes enough oxygen for a family of 4.
Oh, wow.
That's what Highlander put on there. So I'm making enough oxygen for what, 528 people?
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
You're like, you could do a
super producer, right?
People can buy carbon credits from you because of the size of your lawn or something, you know, plant a couple extra trees, you can get some carbon credits, make carbon neutral.
Make sure you use that next time on one of your TikToks or
I
something.
will.
People talk shit about the bees.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well, what do you think, fellas? We about ready to take it down for the evening?
Covered it pretty well. That sounds good to me, fellas. This was fun.
Wrap it up and pack our bags for GIE.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you guys have fun out there for me, and you guys got to do some go live from the KOTG Instagram and do a couple things for those of us that can't make it this year.
Ooh, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, so it sounds like from our group, just me, Zach, and Olee.
Yeah,
the only 3 from KOTG going this year. So if you're going and you got a KOTG shirt, wear it, support us, show it off, or wear your own logo, whatever you're gonna do. But like to see you guys out there, like to meet people. If you run into us, definitely, you know, stop us, get a picture with us, shake our hands, talk with us, shoot the shit, walk around. Let's have a beer together. Definitely have a beer together. So like I said,
anybody that trips Nate, I'll buy him a beer.
That's nice. Appreciate that. But no, looking forward to meeting people. You know, it was
We
a great
hope
time.
to see you there, TA.
Great time last year. You know, like I said.
Let's do it, guys.
So
all right.
I'm gonna try to go out in style, Zach style. Let's see if I can get this working.
Oh, hey, Bill, sweet that you got it up and running. I'm actually just pulling into my house right now. But yeah, that's badass. You got it running. So
yeah, I mean, it worked out all right. Yeah, here we go. Kind of loud. All right. Now how do I stop this thing? Good night, guys.
Oh, hey, Bill.
Love you guys.
Go Hawks. Even though
oh, sorry, Nate. I just hit it right as you were saying go Hawks.
No, we're still on. We're still on, buddy.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, we are still on.
So,
I'm gonna start cursing. All right, now.